Yes. What's that? Drums. Yeah. Hey, can y'all fill in up front? Fill in the middle area first.
Yeah, that's fine right there.
So
Silent.
With her sister, she's got a plan on that. It's like left minutes. And you have this. Okay, so none of the contest is getting this. I know that that's so much that has to go down. I did it every day. I just I hunted her down. I remember. I stopped. I need her to sign on. What? Sure, it'll happen tomorrow morning. If I need on. I'm not very. Yeah. I talked to them.
Okay, that one's just one row. Oh, it's just it woke it up. I saw it was on. Let me just make sure I know the buttons. So just careful. Everything was black. It's just saving battery.
So, how are you?
Is that enough battery? There's a whole gap. Okay, as long as there's a gap, it's fine. I have to set up because like in order for the capacitors, there's like that. I know so I have it.
Like, yeah.
It almost looks like I won't break up the building.
I don't want us to fill in the minutes over here too. Read over there. I want us to fill in the
Nice to see you.
Yeah, right?
We have a long night.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. General Coburn will be joining us here in just a minute. If I can just have you guys make sure your devices are on silent, we would greatly appreciate that. And we'll be getting started momentarily.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing? Everybody good? Everybody have some good questions? This is basically her last message to the Airmen Commanders call. Make sure you have some stories that you want to share with her. She is probably going to get emotional, which is good. Let's make her cry. Hopefully the whole next 4 days will be fine. But I'm going to bring her in. She's going to take a seat, and we'll get started. All right. Everybody have the posters on? Stand up. Root, stand up.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ma'am. And good afternoon, team. Is everyone doing well today? Okay, that was 4 of us. Glad to hear that. That's fantastic. Just going to open us up with a quick word of encouragement. My apologies to those of you who have gotten to hear this already, but I'm sure it'll be better this time around. In honor of the occasion, I've been doing some reflection in the last couple of weeks because I knew that we were going to have this moment, your final UTA with us, man, which has been an honor. So in light of that, I've been reflecting just on things that I'm thankful for and things that are of deep value to me. And upon reflection, one thought has risen to the top that I found sort of an inspirational thought. And I want to share it with you today. This is a quote. I didn't write this, but I heard it. And I love it, so I'm going to share it with you. The greatest and most powerful weapon a man or woman can carry into battle is a reason why. What's your why? Love is the greatest weapon or driving force, or I would say like this, love is the greatest why that overcomes all challenges. I want to take this opportunity to thank you, ma'am, for putting the power of love on display every day for us as a team. And I listed a few ways that I could think of, very easy, there's many. But number one, I want to thank you for your steady, poised, and selfless love for others. I want to thank you for continually modeling overcoming with wave after wave of adversity. And I want to thank you for bringing us together closer as a wing and as a family in the midst of national pain. These actions serve as a reminder to me and challenge me to continue to reach higher for the way of love. So here it goes. Get ready if you've heard these. When your cat card won't work, love overcomes. Everyone say love overcomes. When the network is down, love overcomes. When Nick T comes around again, love overcomes. When that one team member isn't tracking, love overcomes. And when the budget is gone, love still overcomes, and many more. In my faith tradition, we believe that no greater love does a person have than to lay down their life for their friends, which is what you've modeled for us, man. Here's my word of encouragement to all of you listening today and to all of the March family, is no matter how you would assess your performance over this last year to year and a half, remember that you too were compelled and driven by love. My prayer for all of us is that love for others would continue to grow in our heart and be the horizon with which we align our life. We just close with a word of blessing. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as a family today and celebrate. We ask that this would be a special moment. We ask for your blessing on General Coburn, her husband Ryan, and their whole family as they go forward. And we just ask that you would preserve this moment in our hearts. In our Lord's name we pray. Amen.
Hey, so again, good morning. Man, it looks like we have a operations group commanders call. I see a lot of fights inside there, so that's good. Hey, can you guys hear me? Hey, just real quick, I just want to introduce General Coburn. I think I should have done this like 3 years ago when you got here, when I got here as well. So she's been here obviously since 2019 as the wing commander. She was at the operations group before that. But I'm not sure if you know what she did prior to. As a matter of fact, I don't even know what she did prior to. So I was looking at Ryan's laughing. I was kind of looking at her bio when I first applied for this position, and I forgot everything that she did. Although I do know that you went to the Air Force Academy, which is pretty impressive. She served 11 years, I think, of active duty, right? And that's kind of unique, right? I think a lot of us probably do the same thing as far as active duty. You were a group commander here at the OG. You were an OSS commander, a deputy commander at the OSS. And I think it was Charleston where you came from, right? Which base? Okay. Yeah, so then she was at Charleston on the East Coast. She was at the Pentagon as well. I'm not sure if you know what she did over there, but she was working for the CAFR. The CAFR is the chief of the Air Force Reserve. At the time it was General Stenner, I believe. That's what I said, General Jackson. She was working for him. She was also working at for the SecDef. You did manpower utilization as a deputy director and a director. So pretty impressive. In addition, I think she was a weapons C-17 school graduate, whatever that means. No, but I asked her a while back, what does that mean? What are you doing in weapons school? And she told me I forgot, but it's pretty impressive. It's like special forces of flying. It's pretty intense, and not everybody can do that. And apparently, she was the first reservist to graduate from that course. How does that work? Like, is that a new course that just came up? And also, I think you were a distinguished graduate, right? I think she even has a badge or patch that defines that. And I think here recently as well, I'm not sure if you know this, but every time every Saturday morning, we talk to our newcomers. Every morning, Saturday o'clock, and General Gober, Colonel Martin brief our newcomers. And part of that presentation is a picture of the leadership team. And every time we talk to newcomers, we identify the fact that she is the first female commander here at March Reserve Base. That is pretty impressive. You can imagine the lineage and the heritage in regards to this wing, Alessandra Airport in 1918. That is very significant. And I think she was the first for a lot of things. I don't want to say too much. I'm going to speak later today at the commander's call or at the dinner. But I just want to just probably share this message. I think one of my jobs as a command chief, I'm obviously with her a lot, which I truly enjoy. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I truly enjoy that. I have learned a lot. I have the best job. I have a front row seat in regards to watching you perform and seeing you in action. When we talk about executing the mission, spot on, an A+ for the 452nd. You guys are amazing. But I'll tell you what, if you can imagine her responsibilities as a wing commander, her responsibilities as a mother, as a spouse, just as a human being, right? When we talk about our newcomers, we talk about us as individuals, as far as the resiliency that it takes to lead an organization or just to serve in the United States Air Force Reserve. It's huge. It's insane. We have a diverse team here at 52nd. We have people that travel in from all parts of the world, all parts of the country. And if you just imagine your responsibility where you sit and then put yourself in her shoes. One of the things that we always talk about is the support system that we have, you know, and she has a strong support system. She has a strong circle around her. But at the same time, you can understand all the absent situations that she's involved with her family, with her close circle. But I just want to kind of turn that around and say that about you. You know, because you typically don't see General Cobra walking around your duty section, right? At your work center, whether it be the FSS, whether it be the OG, where she was there a couple years ago, or even in maintenance group or medical. It's hard for her to get involved. But I'll tell you firsthand, she's thinking about you every single day. Like probably even every single minute, right? And I just want to share the angst and the desire for her to be with you and talk to you directly. But as you can imagine, that time is not available always. But I will say that she takes the opportunity to fly. She flies a lot, which is good. But the bad thing about that is that when she comes back, she has homework for me. Because that's when she gets to talk to you, the maintainers and the flyers and the FSS people that are supporting her, which is good. And I'll share some more maybe here towards the end. But I just want you to understand that she's always thinking about you. She cares about you. Everything that she does on a daily basis is to support you, the airmen, and obviously to take care of the mission. But man, you know, the floor is yours. Thank you for everything. You're amazing. It's bittersweet. Have fun. See you later. Don't have to go hit you on the way out. But we're good.
Short. How about that? All right, it's really, really good to see everyone. I didn't know exactly what to expect when they said we were doing this in the deployment center. I don't know what to do with my water bottle, so I'll just drink out of it when I need to. So Seth just asked if this was comedy hour, because Chief was cracking some pretty good jokes, and yeah, actually, perhaps it is. I want to have fun on my last UCA here at March, right? Exactly. So you guys have seen me speak a couple times, probably, whether it's changes of command or retirements or commander's calls. I try not to do pages and pages of notes for speech, but I'm a little emotional this week, believe it or not. And so I put some notes down so that I remember to say some important things to some folks and kind of express my appreciation for you guys. So hopefully I can make it through. I didn't bring any tissues, so, oh, wait, no. I'm not real good at emotions, so we'll see how this goes. So earlier this week, I actually had a meeting with a tenant unit on the base. They wanted to come over and say goodbye and kind of express their gratitude for everything we do for them to support them. And the senior leader of that organization shared with me that he has a retirement coming up. He's planning on retiring from his position. And he said, I want absolutely no ceremony. And I was like, oh, okay. He said, I don't find them very fun because if you know me, meaning if we knew him, then you know how I feel about you. And so I don't need a public display to tell people how I feel about them. And I pondered that for a minute and I thought, okay, I mean, I can kind of understand that, right? Because if you have a personal enough relationship with someone, you know exactly how you feel about them and they know how vice versa. But then I argued with him and I said, actually, I kind of disagree, sir, because I think you should take every opportunity you can to tell people that you love them, how much you care about them, and how proud you are of them. So hopefully you'll bear with me through this. I was joking with my group commanders earlier that we're gonna get to the point where, okay, Coburn, you don't need to say goodbye one more time, just leave. Just leave. But with that, there is no formal change of command as I leave. It just didn't work out. The new incoming wing commander couldn't make it here in time. And so there will be an assumption of command when he gets here, scheduled to be somewhere around the end of July. And that will be a formal assumption. So this is kind of my deal and my time to say goodbye to you all. So thank you for being here. 4 years ago, the four of us, me and Ryan and Gavin and Reese, left the Pentagon and made the journey out west. And you guys have probably heard me say before that I'm an East Coast girl, like my whole career. So we didn't really know what we were in for coming out here. And you guys probably didn't know what you were in for either, with me coming here. It has been an amazing experience. I was also not planned to be here for 4 years. I was just supposed to come be the ops group commander, and then usually they whisk you away and make you the wing commander somewhere else. But when General Berger left, he left kind of in a weird cycle of things, and General Ogden said, you are the perfect person to take the wing. Are you willing and able? And I went home and said, hey, guess what? They asked me to be the wing commander. Truly, truly an honor to be your wing commander. I think we all join the service because we want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. I think ultimately, if you dig deep in there, yeah, sometimes you say, well, I get educational benefits from it, or I get to do cool things, I get to fly cool airplanes or refuel cool airplanes or whatever the case is. But really deep down, if you think about why you serve, it's because you want to be a part of something bigger than yourself. And I've been in the Air Force a long time now, probably longer than I want to admit in public. 29 years. And I've done a lot of things like at different bases, been in a couple different wings. I have never in my career felt like I was such a part of something bigger than myself as I did here at March. And I think that's amazing for me to walk away with that experience. So thank you guys, because you are the ones who gave me that experience. I went to my new assignment, which is at NORTHCOM. So that's U.S. Northern Command. And their primary mission there is Homeland Defense. And I met my new boss, and he said, welcome, we're really lamenting the fact that you're leaving Wing Command. Because he knows, he's 4-star, he knows that this is the best job you're ever gonna have in your progression of whatever you do in a career. So to begin to tell you guys how proud I am of you, I'm gonna brag on you a little bit. I didn't want to go through the whole litany of things, right? Like I think you guys have heard me say enough, the things. 5 weeks after I took wing command, then a 16 crash, like the whole thing, all the history of what we've been through. We've been through some stuff, but I didn't want to do that. Instead, what I wanted to do is highlight, suddenly getting very warm in here, is highlight the fact that yesterday I was in a general officer forum. hosted by Lieutenant General Scobie, our Chief of the Air Force Reserve. And in that forum, they invited all present and past, whoever could make it, general officers in the Air Force Reserve into the forum because it was virtual. We were on Teams, I think. And no kidding, 3 former CAFers showed up and were at the meeting. So General Scobie was hosting, and General Jackson was there, and General Center was in there, and General Bradley was in there with us. And General Scobie was giving his vision about what he wanted for Air Force Reserve Command and how we're doing accelerate, change, or lose per General Brown's vision. And in his vision and in his, here's what my command is doing, he specifically called out March for 2 reasons. One, had to do with the Wuhan evacuees that we accepted back in January of 2020. So whether we want that or not, that is in our history. You guys have made history. We did it well. This team came together and supported the successful return of those American citizens from China. So you are in the history books as doing that. 52nd Air Mobility Wing will forever be known as the first and did it well. But the second, I found a little more intriguing. He actually called us out because we had maintained nonstop mission readiness throughout this pandemic. And I was very, very proud of the fact that he mentioned that to this whole forum of general officers. Very impressive. And again, that's not me. That's you guys making the commitment and making the decision to put the uniform on and come in and do what you're supposed to do, regardless of what's going on in the world with the pandemic, and regardless of what you have going on in your personal lives. You're making a sacrifice to come to the base, to do your PHA or do your AFSC skills training, whatever that may be. Very, very proud that my wing did that, and General Scobie acknowledged that. So, Chief mentioned the mission brief that we give to the newcomers. We actually do that mission brief for a number of different forums, including a lot of our community leaders. And I've given that brief to a number of different congressional committees who come to the base. Sometime, if you get a chance, maybe stick your head in the newcomers brief and listen to it. Because I don't know, if you've been in the wing for a while, I don't know if you've seen that enough to understand where you're part of that, where your part of that lies, what you do to support those missions, but it's pretty impressive. And in the mission brief that Colonel Martin helped me revise, we've actually dedicated a specific slide to what March Air Reserve Base does in line with the National Defense Strategy. So again, I don't know that other bases have such a key role in something so big as the nation's defense, but we do. When I interviewed for my NORTHCOM job, they actually asked me about that. And lucky for me that I was able to say, what they asked me was, why do you want to come here and why do you want to do this job? Lucky for me, I was able to say, because my wing does Homeland Defense every day. Every day. And if you stop and think about it, so it's not the F-16s only on the ramp. We've got F-16s up there. It's what you all do every day to move whatever mission you're moving, whether that's KC-135s, whether that's C-17s, whether that's supporting the F-16s, whoever that's supporting on the space, we do Homeland Defense here. And I couldn't think of a more important mission. So I'm really looking forward to going and seeing it from the other side. I'll get back with you about how that goes. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the personal aspect of this because, like I mentioned, General Van Herk said to me, we're lamenting that you're leaving Wing Command. We're sorry that you're having to leave Wing Command. I have to be honest, it wasn't always easy. I was glad I had 2 years in the ops group to kind of get to know the landscape a little bit, to get to know the space a little bit. But I am very humbled and I am very honored that you all have let me learn my leadership skills here because it means a lot that you come here and that like Chief mentioned, there's not a day or really many minutes in a day that go by that I don't think about you, that I don't think about what you're doing away from your families, away from your other employment, away from your school, whatever you're doing to come here. So thank you for giving me the honor of learning those leadership skills with you guys. If you've heard me talk about the mission here to other people, perhaps like to new group commanders that come here or sometimes when the community leaders visit, I say the mission here is relentless. It's relentless. And I think if I look, I see some heads shaking maybe. You feel that, right? We are nonstop here. We're nonstop. Whether we're in an exercise, whether we're getting ready to deploy, whether we just got done deploying, whether we're getting ready to have an inspection, whatever that is, you guys are heads down doing your job. What I would ask of you as I leave is to take some time. So Chief and I were talking, we have the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force coming to visit us on Tuesday night into Wednesday. Anybody know that she's coming? Anybody? Yeah. Yeah. So what that means for me is that like, I don't even get to really fully enjoy my last full day here at March, right? Like the mission just keeps on going. As I depart, I would just ask you guys, whatever it looks like, please take the time within your sections to pat yourselves on the back and to be proud of what you do. So the example I think of is that we went through a virtual UEI last summer, right? I don't know how many of y'all were a part of that directly or probably all indirectly, at least. We did great. Our wing did awesome. We were effective. That was way better than the previous unit effectiveness inspection we had. And yet, right after that, we were right into civil unrest things and another exercise. And so we really didn't even get to take the time to enjoy our successes. So please do that as I step out the door. Some of you have spent more time with me, like Chief alluded to, than you've spent with your own families, and certainly some of you, I've spent more time with you than I have with my own family, especially if you're a member of my crisis action team. That's a ha-ha funny. I see Chuck Onder laughing. Nobody else thought that was funny, Chuck. So with that, I want to go through some thank yous to you all, and then hopefully I'll wrap it up because I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty hot. So first off, to my med group. What an amazing group you are, not only because you do all the things to take care of the airmen medically, all the normal stuff. You've had an added challenge, obviously, for the last year and a half. They asked you to deploy. You all had to send people to New York City when New York City was complete crisis, and you did. And General Scobie bragged on that as well, not specifically to us because it was a part of a larger package. But for those of you who didn't know, we were given about 24 hours to get a medical deployment team together here on the base to get through processing, and then on their way to New York City to augment the civilian hospitals. And we did it with a team of 12, part of a larger package. Again, amazing, amazing that we had that capability. And then on top of it, you had to deal with our own version of COVID. If there was a question as I was making decisions ever, I was deferring to medical. I don't know, what do you guys say? What's the CDC saying? What's their recommendation? Like, what's going on? Like, how do we understand this? So they were having to deal with all that on top of their normal operations. And then we threw vaccinations on top of you. Hey, by the way, we need some vaccinations for some folks who want to get vaccinated. Please figure that out. So thank you. And I'll say an added thank you. I'm looking around, whoever, you know who you are, who have to get me through my flight physical because I have terrible white coat syndrome when I come in there and I start shaking when I walk in the clinic. Your airmen are amazing, Colonel Lampson. To my MXG, unfortunately, she's not here because they have a very important retirement going on at the same time. And I told her, please, by all means, I'm not going to be offended if you're not here. But to my maintenance group, you guys are the ones who moved the mission. And you guys were probably the hardest hit during COVID. It was absolutely devastating to me to get the phone call every day because initially as we entered the pandemic, Command Post had to call me every time we had positive members on the base. And it seemed like it was a non-stop phone call of somebody in the maintenance group who was sick. On top of all of that, on top of the fact that they were hardest hit, and think about it, they were hardest hit because they can't do maintenance virtually, right? We can't do maintenance virtually. They still maintained the mission. We still have kudos from Lieutenant General Scobie that we maintained our mission readiness despite all of that. So two very different missions and two very different airframes here on base with a TFI embedded in that. I realize the TFI is a key part of why that's so successful. And a really, I'll say aging airframe. Aging, is that rude? But really, I mean, it's a thing to keep an airplane that was built in the 1950s constantly mission ready. MSG. So the business we do at March is done on the backs of what happens in the mission support group. Period. Period. Your aerial partners are phenomenal. I use them as the vision of this is how training should be planned and executed, because they do it. Not only do they have a great plan, but man, if I throw a commander's call on the schedule, I hear about it from some chiefs because it interrupts their training plan. It's a good thing. For security forces, again, way outside their realm of normal operations, certainly within the last year and a half. I got an opportunity to go out and be in the field with them end of May it was, I think, all running together. What a great group of folks. Not only do they support 801X, but they're friendly on the gate every time I see them. Well, usually, unless it's like 5 in the morning. Then they're as sleepy as me. COM, anybody here from COM? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just apologize. You can carry the apology to Colonel McCrane to COM, because I've broken more things. I think I've broken your internet. I've broken all my computers. I've broken my phones. I've broken my iPad. But your COM folks are always there to help fix all that. Hopefully they'll continue to. LRS, anything, whether it's a person, whether it's a package, whether it's the mail, anything that moves on the space, LRS is touched in some way, shape, or form. So that's, Major Hike and her crew, like, amazing. They do an amazing job, especially given all the constraints of our contract that we have to work under. FSS, I see Lieutenant Colonel Select Sellers. No kidding, my husband coming on base to meet me here, goes through the gate, and I'm calling you out, and he has an expired ID card. Who knew? Who knew, right? The week that I'm leaving. So I called Lieutenant Colonel Select Sellers and I said, hey, this is a really weird last minute question. Of course we can, ma'am. We will make it happen. You always make it happen. Thank you. And then CE. Is poor Major or Mr. Shaw here? Poor fellow. He probably has one of the biggest jobs on this base. I was gonna crack some jokes. You guys might not get it though, about fence crashing and DUIs taking part of our perimeter fencing out, how I won't miss those phone calls. Water main breaks and HEF systems deploying, and the man has his job cut out for him on the space, given that it's 103 years old, but he does amazing and he is amazing. And so please pass that along as well. Now to the operations group, where I had my humble beginnings at March. I said to you all last week when I had, that was this week, my Finney flight, you guys welcomed me with open arms. I didn't know what I didn't know. I certainly didn't know the 801X mission. I think, sorry, there's a fly. I think I owned up to it right away with you guys. I said, hey, what I know about KC-135s is that I pull up behind him and I get some gas. Wow, I didn't know what I didn't know. Huge respect for your mission. And I am grateful that you guys are willing to do it, especially in 1950s airplane. Holy cow, right? Like, yeah. And then the C-17s, so Chief Ortiz mentioned that was where I had my humble beginnings, especially as a weapons officer. But you guys were the West Coast version. I didn't know how that was gonna go, and it's gone phenomenally. I am going to miss moving the mission with you guys. I will look forward to hearing what you guys do long time from now. I'll specifically mention a couple things besides the flying squadron and the ops group. So CRS, thought I saw someone from the CRS here, no. So I used to call them small but mighty. They are small but mighty. Apparently they're about to get bigger and still be mighty. So let's hope that goes well. I'll look forward to seeing how that turns out. And then my AirVac squadron. I don't know if we have anybody here from AirVac. So yeah, You probably haven't heard me address senior leaders too much. Maybe, I don't know, when we did Patriot Hook on the base, I had the opportunity to tell my airback stories. To date, no kidding, best mission I've flown since 17. The stuff I did in and out of Afghanistan with airback and moving our combat wounded warriors out to safety in Ramstein, or even sometimes all the way back to Walter Reed. Wow, it's very, very, very impressive, and I'm grateful that you guys do it with us, for us. My wing staff, probably nobody here from FM. So they've certainly had their challenges, as I'm sure we've all felt. The budget doesn't get any better. It's not planned to get any better anytime soon. They're about 40%, maybe 50% full-time manned, but they do it. And I guarantee you, if you talk to them because you aren't getting paid or your airman's not getting paid, they will go out of their way to help you. I've seen them do that. So thank you, because that's not an easy job. It's mind-blowingly hard. Jag, anybody here from Jag? Okay, perfect. Thank you guys for answering all of my dumb questions. And wow, I've had a few. There is nothing easy at March. We all know that. The chaplain said it, love overcomes. Love overcomes. Any time of the day or night, you guys are there for me. Thank you. Command post, they're probably all busy. Okay, I'll share this with you guys then. I won't miss the 2 a.m. phone calls because they're not good. Only a few people have ring-through privileges on my phone. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, I put it on the nightstand next to me, and my children, my husband, and March command post ring through. So I even tell my group commanders, hey, if you need to get a hold of me at 2 a.m. because something's gone wrong, you're gonna have to call command post because they ring through. Wow, have they rung through a lot. Wow. Chaplains, I have an amazing chaplain team. I don't know what I would have done personally without you guys, and I know you guys have been just great support for the wing, and I know you will continue to do that because we're coming out of this. We don't know what that looks like. People need your help and your support. So thank you for offering it and always being there, always, again, anytime, day or night. In public affairs, you guys are kind of scattered everywhere, but thank you for keeping me together. That's a task in itself, whether it's my hair, whether it's something sticking out of my uniform, whether it's putting together an amazing presentation or prepping me for a press conference. Thank you. You've done an amazing job keeping me together and really making me look good, which is a hard job. I appreciate it. All right. So now for the personal thank yous, I'm just going to thank my group commanders one more time. Amazing team. I'm leaving the new wing commander. Keep it up. Herm, I told you how much I appreciated you yesterday, so this may be a repeat for some of you all in the room, but for those of you who haven't heard it, I couldn't have asked for a better vice wing commander. I mean, seriously. And Colonel Martin and I have known each other since we were really young on active duty, like in a completely different life, flying a completely different airplane. And we just, it's amazing that we haven't really changed, at least as far as our relationship, as far as our friendship, as far as the way we think. Often we would start on the thought and we finish each other's sentences, and I'm like, perfect, glad we're on the same page. And also very comforting when I had to hand the wing over to him. No doubt in my mind that things were gonna go on, business is normal, which is not always normal around here. So thank you for the backup. And thank Marissa too, I'll see her tonight. Chief, at the risk of getting emotional again. Don't share the story? Okay. Yeah, so Chief, I got to pick my command chief. I had some great candidates, but I knew Chief Ortiz was the one, and he has been. And I can't thank you enough for your mentorship, your guidance, your friendship, for you and Don both. You've heard the personal, you've heard the professional, and you've been a great sounding board and support for me. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna close with my family. So I'll start with my kids because they're not here. And so I may get through that one without being too emotional, but my daughter is gonna be a senior in high school. So she is the reason that for the first time in my career, we're doing a split PCS where I'm going to Colorado and my husband and our daughter are staying here so she can finish up her senior year in high school. So you guys will be seeing me again, hopefully. If I get invited to the fun stuff, I'm coming back. She is an amazing young woman. I told Ryan, I said, we could probably leave her here. She could pay the rent and get herself to school and probably get a job and feed the pets and apply to all the colleges. And, you know, we're not gonna do that, but very, very proud of her. She's out on the river enjoying the hot day. So yeah, she's not here with mom. Anyways, my son is not here. I don't know. How many of you all were here when I took command of the wing in March of 2019? Okay. Thank you. You're not making it any easier. So my son is, I mentioned to you all when I took command of the wing that we were hoping he would be a cadet in anticipation of hopefully someday getting his commission. And he is. Yes, very, very proud of him. And he is not here because he's in Camp Shelby in the middle of Mississippi for training. Sorry, I need to laugh. It's probably pretty miserable at the present moment, but very, very proud of him. And I wish he could be here. To Ryan. Thank you. That's it. That's all I got. So you guys have probably heard me brag once or twice or a lot of times because I'm so proud of him. My husband is a nurse, and I can't even begin to explain to you all what it's been like in the Coburn household for 14 months since COVID. But what a thing to be in command and have my main support system at home be fighting on the front lines of the pandemic. So Ryan and I have been together for, don't let me get it wrong, 22, okay, thank you. Yeah, 22 years. I didn't doubt you, I said it with math. And Ryan was law enforcement before he became a nurse, and he's been through some pretty tough times in law enforcement. I have never seen him go through the stuff he went through since COVID started, because he is that person. He's a compassionate caregiver. He really cares about taking care of others. And it was a lot to watch him go through that while I was trying to maintain myself and my wing and you all, keep you all safe. So you've been there through all the stress and all the sleepless nights. Commandos. Yeah. Because once they ring through, I don't go back to sleep. And the frustration, because there's been a little bit of that and a lot of tears and some laughter thrown in there when we can find it. I said it when I got promoted, and I'll say it again. Thank you for staying. It's just a regular flight glove. Anyhow, I will leave you with a final thought that I couldn't get out because of my tears, but your family is really, truly the reason that you can come here to do what you do. And certainly mine has been the reason that I was able to recharge and come back to you all every day with a positive outlook for what we do here at March. So thank you for your service. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Before we head out, I'll have a small presentation for General Coburn. Can I ask a professional order to stop by real quick? Chief Swift, Sergeant Baker, Sergeant Bryant, Sergeant Carney, and Airman Lay. Come on, don't be shy. Let's get you in there. There you go, Chief. First Sergeant. There you go. There you guys. Hey, man, so real quick, and sorry to keep you guys here longer. By the way, your next appointment is not till 5:30, so you can take pictures from now to then. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. So, hey, so one of the things as an enlisted member here at the March Air Reserve is, I think when I was growing up as a young airman, I always appreciated when I called somebody answered on the other side. And General Coburn has been that for the men and women here at the second. And I'm not sure if you're aware, but we have about 3,300 members, military members that work here on base. About 2,900 are enlisted. And our corps, representing the Chiefs group, is Chief Swift, First Sergeant Counselor Sergeant Baker, Senior NCO's top 3 is Sergeant Carroll, and then 5-6 is Sergeant Carney and Airman Lay for the Airmen. But man, I just want to thank you. One of the things that's evident, and I'm sure they had a story just like I do, and if I get an opportunity to talk to her all day, but she reaches out and communicates to our airmen more than you know, more than you think. And I just want to say that thank you on behalf of 2,900 airmen. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your sacrifice. And as I'm sitting here thanking you, thank you as well, Ryan. I know for a fact when we're talking about it at night, he's there next to me. As a matter of fact, he's probably the one that's at the to call me. I was like, stop. He has some good ideas. But just like you said, this is a team effort. This is a team effort, and you can't do this alone. And I just want to echo you saying that. Please go back and thank your families. But on behalf of the March sec, I call that frame. I'm not sure if it's stuck, but it says in recognition of your outstanding contributions, exemplary service, and invaluable leadership, your relentless pursuit of excellence, dedication, and service. Demonstrating capabilities and pride taken in every aspect of the mission, encouraging an attitude of unified purpose, responsibility, and enhancing the professional development of all enlisted men and women of Team March. And then we have a logo of each organization. Can I get you to send me just for a quick picture? Where's our camera? So this afternoon, or this evening, we're going to get together with the group commanders, the commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, and the senior arts. So I want to take the opportunity to recognize her here. But nevertheless, as soon as she's done hugging, they got off the stage. We are done. I have a couple of jokes if you want to hear them. As you walk here, should we stay up here for a picture, or do you want to stay down there? Anyways, I'll call the room to attention one last time for you, man, and then we'll call it a day. Stand by. Building, touch, hug.